call the law offices of Feels Goodman for all of your Keysanity needs. Now, it looks like we're underway now, and I'm pretty sure that's the best item you could have hoped for in Link's house right there.
Absolutely.
I mean, what are you gonna do without a single arrow?
Play without a valid seed, obviously.
There you go. I'd like to go ahead and give a shout out to our tracker real fast. It's demo. Good job on the last seed, and thanks for sticking it out for this seed. Got ourselves an interesting run on our hands.
Slight stutter. But Myriachan headed to Vanilla Escape.
Yeah. I see a lot of different routes starting off in Keysanity. I'm not the biggest fan of going to Escape without also clearing parts of Hyrule Castle, but
A lot of people do this, and I've seen it pay off.
Well, we got the big key of Thieves Town, which is not a bad deal. You kind of want that. Just a piece of heart in the sanctuary. And we found a compass over there in Blind's hut. And something else. Now, unfortunately, CRS has one of those situations where he doesn't have bombs going into Kakariko. So he's going to have to acquire some explosives to get to those items at the back of both the well and Blind's hut.
This is the... Oh, and the tree pull level 1 is explosives. It looks like a CRSreverb did not check that.
Yeah, that seems less than ideal in a lot of cases. We found a small key to Ganon's tower. 2 of them, in fact, in the well.
Yep. In case you're wondering how the tree pulls work, there are 3 tiers. Tier 1, after you've killed exactly 1 enemy, since the last time you tried to pull a tree, is the one that Myriachan was doing.
I think it's anywhere from 1 to 3.
1 or 2. Once you've hit 3, it goes to tier 2.
Huh. I thought it was 4. That shows you what I know.
If you've killed 3 enemies, then you get tier 2, and took damage in the time that you were killing 3 enemies. If you kill 3 enemies and don't take any damage, you get the tier 3 pull.
Excellent. So, Myriachan picking up 20 in the... Wow.
CRSreverb getting the hammer.
And Myriachan picking up the power glove, so that's most of the way to Dark World access right there.
Yep. These are the nice items that you're basically guaranteed to get pretty early, as opposed to the nice items that you're not guaranteed, that being boots and flute.
Yeah, let's just throw lamp in that as well.
Absolutely.
Because lamp, you want a lamp, but you don't have to have a lamp.
Yep.
For a lot of things.
We had a race at 8 where Pika Pals finished everything without a lamp at all.
I assume one of those things was Misery Mire, because that's the worst.
Yes, it was. We were very impressed.
Alright, so it was the Compass of Ice Palace, and yes, that was the hammer in the upper right chest of Blind's hut. Ooh, speaking of Misery Mire, there's a small key, which, doesn't actually tell you anything about Misery Mire.
It's one of the 4 places that does not require a single small key to finish.
Yes. There are a couple of chests in there that are actually locked behind some of the small keys. but that's only the ones on the left side behind the fire sources, and it requires all 3.
And you can get small keys in the dungeon to get there.
Right. You can actually full clear everything in that dungeon without any small keys, but the logic assumes you're going to make dumb decisions.
Yep. So the ice rod there for Myriachan, and we know that
Right.
CRSreverb was just in there, so he must have gotten that as well.
Exactly. So the ice rod was there, and those 2 Ganon's Tower small keys, all right in a row.
Reverb taking a death.
And Myria going into the chicken hut, we find ourselves another small key, this time also to Misery Mire.
Oh.
So I'm guessing CRS. Well, no, he didn't have any bombs, so he hasn't checked that.
Myriachan going to this bombable hut to get some bombs and enough money to pay the bottle vendor.
Right. Inside you will find 2 rupees, 5 arrows, and 4 bombs. So maybe you go somewhere else to get the rupees.
Might be faster to go either to Blind's Hut or to either of the bombable places at the top of Kakariko will work.
Right, so we have found a key to Pod in the back of the tavern. It's a little bit of the business from Pod just lying around. And yes, it does look like Myriachan's going to jump in here to grab an additional 30 rupees. CRSreverb picking up that Misery Mire small key in Blind's Hut. And just acquires a few more explosives from them.
I think that's totally worth it.
That seems a little overpriced to me. You can get 10 of them for 50 at the other shop.
Yeah, but it's the mystery box.
It could be anything. It could even be a boat. It could even be a swag duck. Wait.
That is the best thing you can get, I think. Because the swag duck is right there. Anyway, is there anything, any places you want particular items to be in this seed?
Well, you know, it's been a while since I've seen a good Agonist Cave troll. I think that needs to happen. But there's the silver arrows at the race game.
I will say the thing I always want to happen that I have never seen. I want this to happen to me as well. I'm not trying to be mean to the racers, but I want to see bow or hookshot in the big chest of Ganon's Tower.
Gross. I love it. Okay.
Yeah, we have silvers in race game, which is fantastic, of course.
I should run the numbers on how likely that would be, because it doesn't seem particularly likely.
All I know is that it's possible.
Possible indeed.
It requires for bow that both Eastern and Pod be pendants. And for hookshot, obviously, Swamp Palace would need to be a pendant.
Alright, so Myriachan's going to be heading over to the Damned. We don't have a mirror or a hookshot, so we can't do the nice little trick to get through this in one shot. But that's not a huge deal.
triple dip into GT. I know how you can have a double dip. I'm not sure how you would have a triple dip.
Yeah, so one big key on the torch.
Oh yeah, and like bow and arrow in there, and
Yeah.
bow opens the.
Like, there's a whole
opens-
lot of
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
I believe the original, like the OG quote Keysanity seed had a triple dip into GT. The Wizrobe seed that inspired it.
Yep. Well, fortunately, as of right now, Myriachan and the CRSreverb are going to the same places.
Yep, so we can sort of keep track of this at the same time. This is the mini Moldorm cave, a little bit trolly without sword or hookshot. Hookshot especially. Hookshot's the best.
Not being particularly trolly to Myriachan here, deciding she gets out Ice Rod and the cave just immediately goes, "Oh, you're using magic! Here, have some."
So we just found the big key of Eastern and the flippers. So the big key of Eastern, of course, unlocks an additional chest within Eastern Palace that they can access right now, and if they find the bow, they can clear the whole silly thing, assuming they can dark room. Oh, and we also got a bottle as well.
So that makes the.
I did miss that in the fourth chest.
Yep, that makes the sick kit available. Myriachan choosing to go the safer route, which I very much like. There's only one crab to deal with over here, as opposed to the 4.
I mean, that's definitely something you'd prefer to do if you have the flippers. If you don't have the flippers, you're stuck.
Yep.
And so Myria pulls out the Compass of Skull Woods. And it looks like we are going to see some flipper locations checked, including everybody's favorite bridge dweller, the hobo.
Let's see how actually poor he is, based on what he's able to give up.
I've seen him hand out 300 rupees way too often.
Maybe he just likes living under the bridge. He can be elsewhere, he just doesn't want to.
The hobo will not have one arrow. We know where that is.
That is, Link's house.
Link's house. How about a sword?
Hobo is ex-military.
Yeah, apparently. He's like, I used this back in the war, and now you can have it. It's not doing me any good under the bridge.
Yup. Have you noticed that
big key on the Lake Hylia item?
That's a big deal. But have you noticed that there's no enemies on the way to the hobo? You ever wonder why? Hobo keeps his area clean of enemies with that sword.
Alright, so we've got a map of swamp and the moon pearl inside the waterfall cave. That is Dark World access, and looks like Myria is going to try to trade in that green potion for something better. Or maybe a boomerang, but I don't think that's going to work. Ordinarily, that would work in the original game. You could throw a boomerang into that pond in particular and get the magical one.
Yeah, which only the 100% run does, because
100% run doesn't even do that. Because if you don't have the boomerang, the bombable hut in the south of Village of Outcasts has a magical boomerang.
You're absolutely right. Yeah. But yeah. Not a huge incentive to do it in the speedrun.
We also have indicated that the Eastern Palace is the green pendant, and the fire rod is on the ledge at Zora.
So this trip up to Zora's domain is paying off dividends for Myriachan.
And did we find the mirror in Sahasrala's hut? I think we found the mirror. And the flute? My god. So many impressive things being found here in all of these initially available locations, or very closely initially available.
Myriachan has Dark World access. Is she going to skip out on the flute in the mirror?
It's entirely possible. Because a lot of times you want to sort of find the mirror and go be able to like dip Pod and Eastern at the same time. Unfortunately, that's not going to work.
Yeah, Myriachan's checking Sick Kid, but then they'll probably
okay.
They'll probably dip into Dark World since it's right here.
It's entirely possible. So the Sick Kid today has just a big 20, which is kind of what we expect.
I mean, there's 28 of them. They're everywhere.
Alright, so Reverb going back for that first chest. I thought he might have missed it. But yeah, 50 rupees there. So Reverb has a little bit of an advantage with that mirror and the flute. Myria is going to go into the Dark World.
I think the flute's a pretty significant advantage, though Myriachan having Dark World access is a big deal.
Right. Reverb is going to need to go check those flipper locations, but I don't think that will be too far from his mind.
I mean, unlike Mirror, where you can do a lot of stuff without it, you're not going to get very far without that Moon Pearl.
Right. There's the big key of Desert Palace inside the chest game. Meanwhile, Reverb found 300 rupees in a chest in Eastern, so that's going to sort of lead him toward Zora, which is going to be nice for him. Well, there's something red in that brewery chest, but it's not a boomerang, it's a mail.
Where, red mail already?
Yep. Found the blue one in the dam, found the red one in that bombable hut down there.
I guess we have to make up for the fact that we're at 4 hearts in the Dark World.
Yeah, 4 hearts in the Dark World sounds like, you know, the worst vacation. Sounds like Weekend at Bernie's too.
I'm not familiar with that particular movie series, other than to know that it exists. Is that the worst one?
I don't know. I'm just saying, the premise of the series is they carry around this guy who's dead.
It's
trying
the
to
worst
make people
premise.
think he's alive.
It's awful.
Oh, and there's the bow inside Thieves Town.
We have a lot of stuff in this seed very early. We can finish Eastern Palace. We're Titan's Mist away from having access to Desert Palace, and then we can finish that.
There's the big key of Skull Wood, so we just got access to one more thing. Ding!
We have the big key to this area, so we can finish Thieves Town already. This
Indeed.
is, I think this is the fastest I've ever seen a dungeon being completable in Keysanity.
Wow. Now, of course, Thieves Town is completable, but the logic wants you to have the small key.
Yes.
So
Logic assumes that
if-
you're going to use every small key as poorly as possible.
So if you find something important in, say, one of these chests, one of these locations, you will expect that the small key will have been available somewhere. And that means that you're like, oh man, I should have done that because now I have to come back for the big chest. But you won't come back for the big chest. Who does that?
Literally 0 people do that.
Until of course, it becomes actually required.
Yep, I just watched the seed where it was required.
Oh, good. That means that I didn't curse anybody, right? That means it can't possibly happen in this seed, right? That's how probability works?
Yep.
I'm pretty sure it's not how probability works.
Exactly
Anyway,
how probability works. Where are we at? What was that? The gambler is not fallacious.
mhm.
Gambler knows what he's talking about.
The gambler knows when to hold them and when to fold them, and when to walk away and when to run. I'm old.
How old are you?
Older than 32.
So you're definitely older than me, because I'm 31.
Oh, okay.
But you're not much super old than me.
Anyway, so let's get back to the race here. Myriachan is about to embark on the basement trip. Gonna pick up the maiden.
The chests that we've been looking at haven't been really anything so far. Other than the first 4 chests in Thieves Town, we haven't had a lot of fantastic chests here. We just have to hope that Thieves Town is a crystal, so this was worth it. Or it's a ped seed, so it's worth it anyway.
There is that. Pedestal has a lot of logically required things that are more likely to be on the pedestal than normal, but overall I think the probability of it being actually required is pretty small still.
Okay, 4 hearts blind. Let's see how this goes.
Yep, we do have a red potion in case something goes horribly wrong, and the red mail will make damage you take from non-fireball sources a little less. Myria is just dodging the snot out of this. Hot dang. Okay, 1 hit. Just dealing with the 3rd phase the best you can.
That was a fantastic blind fight out of Myriachan.
Picks up a backup potion. And something else that's red.
Power is not what she was looking for.
No. Oh, I think I saw a very brief glimpse of the Bombos medallion in Hyrule Castle.
Myriachan doing all of Thieves Town basically damageless until she got to blind, where she only got hit once, really. I can't do that. That's
Yeah.
really good.
So here's the thing. In the U.S. distribution of this game, that pendant is referred to as the Pendant of Wisdom. But in the Japanese version, it's power, and in re-releases, it's referred to as power. Somebody just mixed up the translation in the very first one.
Myriachan remembering to make really good use of those silver arrows that kill basically everything in the overworld in one hit. A very powerful thing to have very early.
Yeah, silver arrows kill most things that they can kill in one shot. There are a few exceptions.
Most of them are bosses.
Yeah. Basically, the only one that's not a boss that's an exception is the Pokies in Turtle Rock. They take 2 hits.
They take 2 hits, but the fire rod kills them in 1.
Yep. Yeah, so the weird thing about that is, it's because the Pokies, actually every single portion you hit of the Pokies counts damage, and the arrows only hit one piece of it.
Yep.
Whereas the fire rod will hit multiple pieces, and that's why you can kill a Pokie with 2 gold butter sword slashes, but it takes more than 4 tempered sword slashes.
I forgot that they got the Skullwoods.
Yep, it was in Thieves Town, over on the chest next to the vanilla big key chest. I don't know what you call that chest.
You said next to the vanilla big key. I think that's a good description. I'm not sure I could do better than that.
Speaking of big key, that's the big key of Misery Mire. Which, with as many Misery Mire keys and the big key that we've been getting, I am starting to think that there might be something there on the left side of Mire.
Maybe a little bit.
And Mire will be Bombos, and we'll find the Titan's Myths. Gonna say Hype Cave.
That's a good guess. I'm gonna guess on top of Spectacle Rock.
That's definitely a possibility. Which means you'll need that mirror.
Yep. And that
I don't think Titan's Myths can be in Checkerboard Cave.
Titan's Myths definitely can't be. Both Myths upgrades and the mirror are required to get to Checkerboard Cave.
Yeah,
Myriachan-
Lantern and Mire is a thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Happens a lot.
Yep.
More
Myriachan
time. Go
jumped
ahead.
out and then I think immediately realized that she could finish this. And with how well Blind went, why not?
I'm like, do you really want to, though? With 5 hearts? I don't care what mail you have. You have 5 hearts and Fighter Sword. Do you actually want to fight Mothula?
She has 5 hearts and 2 red crystals.
Or red potions? But
Red
yeah.
potions. She had
Yeah,
2
okay.
you could do it. Thing.
Okay. That's not the worst thing that can happen to you.
And she can clear this room coming up with silver arrows to conserve magic if she wants.
Yeah, I like to shoot these Gibdos with the silver arrows. Or you can just kind of wrangle them, make sure that they never get anywhere close. That's the thing, is the Gibdo's movement is actually very predictable.
Yes. They hurt, but it's predictable.
Dang, nice dodge on that bunny beam.
I think that was a double hit on that Gibdo, because if you hit the Gibdo into the spikes, it does extra damage.
Interesting. I believe the spikes actually do butter sword damage.
Yep.
So, actually, if you hit it with a pot into a spike, and then just hit it with another pot, doesn't matter if you hit it into a spike, it should die.
So we're gonna need 8 hits with this fire.
Yeah, Myria getting a little lucky on that opening shot, getting several good hits in there with the fire rod before Mothiel decides to troll by standing at the top. That's how it works. And by standing, I mean flying. You know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I actually really like the strats that Myria is using here with the spin strats. And the reason is because although a lot of people will curse the lag that the sword creates, it also gives you a lot more time to react to what's going on in the room. And this is not an easy fight.
No, not at all. I don't know that she would have gone in here if she didn't have
Nice!
2 red potions.
Well
Very
done,
well
Myriachan,
done.
and finds the best item in the game. Not close.
Myriachan's execution has been fantastic here. Like, I don't care anything else that happens in this run. This is when it counts, and she's doing fantastic.
And she's going to go back in there and check out that one chest in front.
I would suspect she'll probably Death Warp here.
In before Master Sword here, and it would have made it easier to fight Mothula. Or Titan's Mitts, that works too.
The only downside of this is it's pulling her further and further away from Sahasrahla.
Miri actually taking a little bit of time to try to figure out exactly what they want to do next, and it looks like the sequence break might be happening. We'll see. Maybe not.
You mean going up Death Mountain without the lantern or the
Yeah,
flute?
it's not happening. But yeah, that was what I was thinking.
It looks like she's going to be clearing out Village of Outcasts. With that Titan's Mitch, she'll be able to talk with the frog.
Right, so heading down south, digging game, all that mess. Eventually over to Hype Cave, I imagine, is the play. So Reverb attempted the 5-heart blind fight and was unsuccessful.
Not easy. He doesn't have the red mail, to be fair.
He doesn't. He did what I tend to do and just went into Thieves Town as part of checking Village of Outcasts and hadn't gotten to the south chest yet, which is kind of sad.
I feel like he's gonna kick himself when he sees that. Unfortunately, arrows do not hurt blind.
Yep. The items that hurt blind include the sword, the hammer, the cane of Burna, and the cane of Samaria.
Cane of Samaria is a favorite of mine, personally, because that's what they use in Swordless.
I love me some Cane of Samaria.
Myriachan using this time to get some money, which I think makes sense.
But we did get that, the shovel dig up, which is always great. It's like, here, have a shovel. I kind of lost my other one out there. Can you find it for me?
Oh, you found it. Yeah, I guess you can have it. I don't really need it.
Mary's gonna pick up the frog.
She's gonna go do the hammer pegs.
Right, hammer pegs. Okay.
The seat has been very tight with rupees. There is a 300, if I recall correctly. There's a lot of money.
All the rupees are in Eastern Palace.
Yeah.
All of it. There's a 50, a 50, a 300, and another 20 in the first 4 chests.
Unfortunately for Reverb, the blind fight, as far as we know, is not required, so...
There's the Thief's Town small key.
And she can't check it because she has the frog.
Oh.
I hope she goes south here. And she does. It should be noted, if you have someone carrying you, you cannot enter dungeons. Or someone following you, you can't enter dungeons.
I think there's also like a list of caves you can't enter also.
That's specifically for the purple chest. The frog can join you into some of those caves.
Right, but I still think you can't go into like double entrance caves because they're part of the dungeon map. I don't know for sure. Don't hold me to it.
That sounds right. I would believe it if you told me in chat, but I believe everything chat tells me. Looks like we got a sub from XX Epitaph XX. Thanks for the sub for 4 months.
Nicely done. Alright, so red rupee and hype cave, and let's see what else we got. 10 arrows, blue rupee, red rupee, actual garbage cave today. Though that piece of heart is, you know, I'd kind of want something to sort of increase my health at this point.
Yeah, that piece of heart, slightly more hype than usual. Still disappointing.
Yeah, that was a very, very low on the hype cave hype index.
Myriachan and Ice Palace are our red crystals.
Yeah, so that Myriachan big key definitely required.
And it looks like Myriachan's gonna go... Oh, nope, never mind.
Yeah, actually, Myriachan and Ice Palace are the vanilla ones.
They are.
I think it's backwards, though. Like, I think he said Mire Ice, which I think makes it 5-6 that way. And in the original, it's the other way around. Ice Mire. Alright, so Miri gonna go deliver the blacksmith. Unfortunately, not getting the dream scenario that they would want with the mirror on blacksmith. If you're checking blacksmith like this, you want to find the mirror so that your opponent also has to do it.
Yep. Or you want to find the mirror in the blacksmith, is what you're saying.
Right. You wanna cut him open and find them. Anyway, sorry. Oh, that'll do. That will do.
Worthwhile here.
Gotta call that blacksmith Deckard because that's the cane.
Indeed.
You have quite a treasure there in that cane of Samaria.
Is that from...
It's from Diablo.
Oh, from Diablo. So, you say Deckard, and I immediately think of Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep?
Oh wow. Yeah, it was Deckard Cain is his full name, so that's why.
That seems fair. Anyway, looks like Myriachan is making the run up to Eastern Palace, which makes sense. She doesn't know it's a green pendant, and she's able to full clear it. If you are her and you get the mirror and the flute here, do you immediately save and quit, go turn on the flute, and then go to Dark Palace?
Maybe. That seems like it might be a play. The problem is I don't really feel like checking pod without more keys. Right?
That's fair.
I mean, hammer and bow is nice, and you can get a lot of things, but you really want more keys.
They can get 5 chests without a single key.
And if you add in that one key and you're looking to maximize chests, you can add, what, 6 to that?
If you have 1 key, you can check, and
Or
you know...
5.
You have to know hammer jump to get
Correct.
more. You would get 6. It would be 6 if you have the big key to...
Right, the big key is the one I was contending with in my brain. If you had the big key, then that would be good. But Myria is going to go into Eastern. And I like this play more because you've got the big key, you've got the bow. Go nuts.
She also has a sword, and these are not super difficult dark rooms here. Especially with a fire rod.
Oof. And Reverb takes a death on Mothula. Once again, unfortunate.
These are not hard bosses, and honestly, if I were in the situations these runners are in, I would probably have left these bosses for later. It was just Myriachan deciding to show us who's boss.
Apparently, Myria did not decide to talk to Sahasrara, so she may be unaware that this is the green pendant. That's okay.
She's about to talk to Sahasrara after finding out it's the green pendant.
There is that.
These are very hard bosses. These are incredibly hard bosses. Those are the words I'm looking for. I'm not trying to say these aren't hard. These are not bosses I would be doing if I were these runners, because they're so hard.
Hey, speaking of pod keys, there's another one over there in the mire shed. At least the Cane of Samaria works on Mothula for sure. I don't know about Brian, but the Cane of Samaria definitely does.
And as we knew, all of the money was here.
But as a general rule, I don't recommend trying Cane of Samaria strats on Mothula. It's the worst. And the problem with burner strats is it's hard to direct Mothula in the direction you want him to go. And you'll get a lot of missed shots that way. Alright, so CRS is going to take his way into Desert Palace. We did find the big key, if I recall correctly.
Yep.
Myria finds 20 rupees in the big key chest, so we'll be heading back to Armos Knights. Now, this back dark room is not trivial.
No.
The front dark room is pretty easy. The back dark room is not trivial.
Myriachan grabbing...
The fire rod makes it easier.
Yeah, if you just turn to left or right and just throw it, there is a lantern right there. Still not in logic, though. You do need the lantern for that logic.
Yeah, so, you know, if you find something important at Armos Knights over here, that actually does sort of limit the places you could find the lamp, right?
Absolutely.
Especially if you're looking for it, because I would. Though with the way Myriachan's been handling these dark rooms, I don't expect that to be a necessity for Myria.
And silver arrows make this boss very easy.
And speaking of all of the money, so literally every single chest in Eastern Palace contained money.
It was 50, 50, 300 red rupee, 300. Is that right?
2 red rupees. So yeah.
2 red rupees.
So it was like 3 pairs. 50, 50, 300, 20, 20, 300.
And Myriachan immediately turning in that pendant. Very good.
For more money!
Wow.
Well, if you didn't know how to make that money, now you do.
Did Reverb check Zora? Do you remember?
Yeah, I believe so. He looks like he's lost the money. I have something I need to do real quick, if you don't mind. Specifically, if everyone would please rise. This game is really fun, no matter how you run. From start until done, it brings you joy. But I would have a word, because it seems absurd. How does a 5-ounce bird carry a boy?
I enjoyed that.
Alright, so CRSreverb destroys the land molas, and, you know, the description for that small key only flashed on the screen barely half a second.
Yeah, I didn't see it. We now know that Swamp Palace is crystal. We might have had a map check earlier than that. Bombos, which we know we can get, is required for Misery Mire.
I told you it was Bombos.
Of course. Do you remember where Bombos was?
Hyrule Castle. First chest.
Right.
The one that I said you shouldn't do without going, well, when you go to escape, or shouldn't not do.
Yeah.
And nothing good in Agnes Cave, unfortunately. My troll is dead.
Both of our runners decided to pick up that compass.
Interesting.
And we got another subscription from Constable Lemon. Thank you for the subscription for 2 months in a row.
Thank you very much. Alright, so Myria gonna be making the way through desert once again. So the Desert Big Key is another one of those keys that, you know, you want to have to complete the dungeon, of course. But the logic also wants the small key.
Yep. Because, as always, the logic assumes that you're going to use small keys in the worst possible way. And if you steal a key from the second half, you can check the first half. I'm unsure of where Myriachan's going right now.
Myria is attempting to unlock the right side door. Not gonna work. Though, if they want to, they could steal this key from the back and, forego going to Land Molas for a bit.
I generally suggest against doing that.
Yeah, generally. It doesn't seem like the world's greatest idea, especially given the fact that you already know where 2 of the pendants are. Seems unlikely that this will be another one. And we know it's not.
However, I can see the logic in, there's 2 chests instead of 1 that you can check.
Yeah, if you're desperate.
You can also do the kill yourself trick, where you grab that key, die to get out of, get to the front of this, and then go check
Save
that,
and
save in the
continue.
key. Yeah.
Or no, don't save.
You save and continue after dying. Use the key and then hard reset.
Right. All right, so Reverb heading into Tower of Hera.
2 locations we could check here.
Yep, just 10 arrows in the basement cage, as it's called. It was a pod small key.
I mean, if we had guessed, we could have guessed that.
Yeah, no surprises there. There's a lot of pod keys.
Anyway, it looks like we're going to get a checkerboard cave check from Myriachan. And CRSreverb checking East Death Mountain.
Yeah, Reverb, I believe, also checked Checkerboard Cave. Just a red rupee there, to my knowledge.
He didn't have as much money as Myriachan, so he actually had to choose whether or not he wanted to check it, or wanted to get it. Myriachan at 1,300 rupees decides against it.
Yeah, I think we're good on rupees for a bit. Now, unfortunately, Myriac does not have that Bombos medallion, or could have gone in.
It might be a blessing in disguise, depending on where that lantern is, because I don't expect any runner to know the Dark Room of Mire. I don't know it, and I feel like a good majority of our runners don't know it either.
Yeah, I've kind of felt my way through it once before, but I had 2 potions.
The big thing we're waiting for Myria to do is Hyrule Castle.
There is that one small detail of not being able to really do anything in Misery Mire that our tracker so graciously pointed out in the chat.
Right.
Because you gotta get over that first gap, and there's only 2 ways to do it. Oh, there's the big key of Hera, it looks like, in the Paradox Cave. So you can turn right around and go back.
And he probably will.
Well, I'm thinking you might check, the Dark World Death Mountain spots and then, mirror back. Speaking of mirroring back, that was the big key of Swamp Palace on the Lake Hylia Island. Not generally the greatest thing you ever want to find, but we do find boots and a small key to Ice Palace in the Paradox Cave.
Looks like Myriachan is also checking Death Mountain, so she may be getting those boots pretty quickly as well.
So Miri is doing the dark room for the old man. Gonna do some nice little rescuing here. Get that save point.
Now, Reverb knows that Thieves Town is a red pendant. There's a good chance he's not going to be back there anytime soon.
Yep, there is that. And I mean, aside from picking up that additional bottle, it won't really make much of a difference. We've got the Super Bunny Cave, which has the map of Mire and a big key.
To somewhere.
My brain wants to think it was Pod, but that was like a subliminal flash, so I'm not sure.
It was the "you want to go to Pod, you want to go to Pod." Looks like Turtle Rock is Quake.
Quake medallion for Pod. Or for Turtle Rock. Sorry. Our tracker is saying it was Pod, so... Looks like the... Oh, there's another Pod key there in the big chest.
That brings us to 4, if I recall correctly.
Yeah. So 4 is the magic number if you know how to hammer jump and have the bow.
And the hammer, of course.
Apparently, we're not being heard. Hello! Can anyone hear me? Alright. So, Myriac picks up that big key of Hera.
CRSreverb finishing out Hera and getting his crystal.
So we've been told also that the Turtle Rock is also a pendant. So, that Quake might not even be required or show up. Moldorm did not have the Skullwoods big key. We've seen that already.
That being the case, I think the number one item that these runners do not want to see is that Quake medallion.
That is very true.
Because if you're not able to dip into Turtle Rock, it's not that big a deal if you can't. Don't.
Yep, seems good. But of course, if you find it, then you're just like, well, probably need to go to Turtle Rock. That's basically the voice, the tone that echoes in your mind there.
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta Turtle Rock. Alright, so Reverb has that pod big key and 4 pod small keys. I kind of feel like I'd be checking out pod at this point. There's also the possibility of Ice Palace.
If they know the Ice Palace bomb jump, they have a fire rod, they have flippers, they have a Ice Palace small key. They could basically pull clear very quickly.
Yeah, and it looks like Myria is going to do just that. Check the one chest in Hookshot Cave, which I have seen have the hookshot before. But unfortunately, just a piece of heart today.
I have a friend who was running this game just random casuals, and like 4 seeds in a row, hookshot was in Hookshot Cave. Really crazy. Anyway, Myriachan going back to...
Gonna go finish Hera just like Reverb did. No real surprises there.
Is CRSreverb doing the... Does Swamp Palace have its small key check?
Interesting. There is that random possibility.
It's much smaller than it was in the last logic, but it is still possible.
Yeah. I have seen, important things in that chest, like Titan's mitts or hookshot, silly things. Alright, so Myria picking up those bombs and opting to use the vanilla strats for reaching the big chest. I don't blame anybody for that.
The amount of time that this bomb jump saves is so minuscule in comparison to every other bomb jump in the game.
Yeah. And if you fail the bomb jump at the bottom, you fall 2 floors, and it's the worst.
Yeah. Save 30 seconds, lose a minute. That's fair.
Seems good. And Myriachan going to fight Moldorm, everybody's favorite troll boss.
We have the hammer, so we only need to hit them 3 times with this hammer.
Yep. And you can avoid the glorious speedy Moldorm phase. Oh, it's a skull with small key on Moldorm. That's not required for our runners, though. That sort of gives you the indication that Mothula may be a thing. So CRS...
Reverb. Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Reverb finding the Thievestown small key. Able to do this part with the mirror just a little bit faster, and he's about to find his cane. Let's see where he goes after this.
So wouldn't it be wonderful if the magic bat had something?
We already checked magic bat, if I recall correctly. Yeah, Myriachan did it while she was in the area because she had all the requirements for it. I don't remember what it was.
All right then. Oh yeah, you're right. That happened. An Ice Palace small key. The Ice Palace small key, once again, not required. Logic wants you to have it for Cold Stare. But just 1. You don't need 2 for Cold Stare.
And if you have the cane...
As long as you have the cane.
And if you have the cane, you also don't need the big key.
In the logic, you still do.
Yeah, actually, you're right. I'm completely wrong.
But no, that's that's not a problem. But most people, one of the very first things you want to try to learn if you're doing this game is that Ice Palace bomb jump. Saves so much time in normal modes and saves you a little bit of time here too. Oh no, Myria's already done Uncle. Myria will not be skipping Uncle because that's already happened.
Yeah, the first thing Myria did was Uncle.
Myria had Uncle had the big key of Thieves Town. Reverb picks up the first Turtle Rock key that we've seen.
This isn't Aga Tower, this is Escape Basement. So...
And there's another Turtle Rock small key. So, one in the purple chest and one in the dark basement. Now, the Aga Tower check may happen. Well, no, Myria hasn't been to the basement yet.
Yep. We don't have any Castle Tower keys yet. And we actually have no way to get into Castle Tower as of right now.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Need either the Master Sword or a... cape. Yeah.
There's that Bombos medallion. That will let Myria get into Misery Mire, and Myria actually can access things in Mire at the moment. Because those boots will let you get across the gap.
So now Myria has 3 dungeons that she has her choice between, really. With Pod, Mire, and Ice Palace.
Yep. I'm not entirely certain which one I'd go for. I'm kind of thinking maybe Ice Palace. And the reasoning on that one is I don't have the lamp.
That's completely fair. It being the only one that won't require the lamp at all.
Alright, so Reverb's gonna go for Moth again. And Miri is fluting over to 2, gonna pick up some more potions before heading off to these dungeons, because that's kind of what you want to do.
Especially when you have over 1,000 money.
So much money. Has Reverb still not checked the bombable hut in Village of Outcasts?
Apparently not.
Did Myria find a small key to desert at some point? Whoop. Oh no, boots. Right. So they didn't check what was on the torch.
So they might find a small key to desert very soon.
Oh, it was a small key. It's not desert.
Nope, it'd be
It's
darker
hair.
if it was.
Well, I didn't know anything about that. All I know is that when they picked it up, it didn't just go clink.
Right.
Which is a technical term for clink.
Sorry, could you say that again? I blinked my ears.
Alright, so we're making the play on Misery Mire. We got 2 small keys coming in. The only thing that the small keys really do for you in Mire is they help you route it faster.
Because you can route to go directly left side.
Yeah, take care of all that in one fell swoop.
The big thing it lets you do is do all of the east side of this in one swoop.
Yeah, because you can unlock that door, hit the switch, and then just go nuts.
Yep.
But Myria doesn't have time for that. Myria's gonna go pick up the lamp off this bridge chest.
That seems like a plan.
I just wanted to call my shot, and it didn't work.
I think Lamp and Meyer is a pretty good guess, though. The only dark rooms that we checked were the one in Eastern Palace, which we know is money, and the one in and the Old Man Dark Room, which I have no idea what that was.
Bombs, I think.
Unimportant, anyway.
Yeah, so we found the other small key to Skullwoods, which is a which actually, in the logic, unlocks Mothula. This has not been a particularly healthy seed. The red mail is available, so that's not the worst day. But, you know, both of our runners sitting at 7 and 8 hearts respectively.
At over an hour in. Very, very low health seed.
Yeah, so Reverb's gonna check the big chest of Thieves Town, finds just a compass of who knows and who cares. And a couple of, just a piece of heart behind I think that's like the compass in the real game.
I have no idea where vanilla compasses and vanilla maps are in this game.
And Mirius starts the cutscene. Oh, and Reverb's doing some Mario strats on blind. This is the best.
I'm definitely a fan of these strats.
Mario strats
As I
are
said
great.
before.
Like, first of all, they're actually pretty safe. You know, if you're wanting to be careful, you can just kind of drop the block and let him walk over it.
Big key to Ganon's tower is in the vanilla big key chest of Mire.
So, remember when I said something about there being something on the left side of Mire?
Turns out.
Yeah, the best prize in the game, right there. The big key of Ganon's tower. Alright, so we find a shield in the big chest of Mire.
After a...
And a cape!
Yep. And Myriachan now...
Myriachan will be making the play, it looks like, on the dark room of Mire.
She is a braver person than I.
If you can get through the dark room, Vitreous will be a breeze. Because Vitreous is just silver arrows to the face.
Sorry, we're a little quiet. This is...
Yeah. Alright, so sounds like Miria has found the pot and lifted the pot. You need to get this Samaria block onto the switch, and the Samaria block is not your friend. It was on there, but it went away. Miria's going to use some of those safety potions, because there's nothing wrong with that.
Reverb finally getting his red mail and then going to check the the digging game.
Finding a shovel in the digging game. I'm not sure Miria checked the shovel dig spot.
I don't think she did.
But we did see Miria made it through that dark room. And there we go. Trying to get around those blocks in the next room. And now we get to the spike room. Really want to get around this. Alright, looks like we're far enough to the left. We can proceed. I believe there's at least one more potion still left in Miria's arsenal.
There are two. There's a blue potion. There's two blue potions, in fact.
Yeah, but I think she used one of the blue ones already.
She used the red one to heal up just now. I don't know that she used the other one.
Trying to hit that crystal switch in the back.
She got it.
Alright, just make sure you save enough arrows for Vitreous. You only need, what, 10? Or 11? If you do it right.
11, yeah. 9 for the small eyeballs and 2 for the big one.
And Miria makes it through the dark room. That's the best. And we find yet another pod key on the pyramid. And Reverb's going for catfish, it looks like. Yeah, Lamp is probably in pod, to be honest. Or Ice Palace.
I was so ready for Lamp to be in Mire.
And Vitreous goes down. That giant eyeball revealing a boomerang of the red variety. And yet another crystal. We know that's... I think 5.
Piece of heart at the catfish.
Yeah, so unfortunately, the catfish play not paying off. Myriachan about to make good use of that money to acquire additional potions.
And we're going to Ice Palace, it looks like.
Yep, Miri going to Ice. Reverb going to Pod, so we've got a little bit of a double exploration situation on our hands.
We get the feeling that one of these places has the lamp. Not that Miria needs it. She just did the hardest dark room in the game without it.
Well, there's a harder dark room.
Which
but
one
no
would you
one
say
ever does it.
Is harder.
Going all the way up Agate Tower. Now, getting to the second chest, that's easy. But if you need to go past that, you've got holes everywhere.
I guess if you need to go past that, but why would you ever do that to yourself?
Because you hate yourself.
Very clean room.
And there's the last pod key. We're on 6, and that's the small key to desert in pod. So desert now completable via the logic. Pod, at least in terms of commentators' knowledge, also completable via the logic.
Without soft locking, of course. That
Correct.
thing you always are afraid of.
Looks like that wasn't even a possibility in this seed.
Need a pod key locked behind something in pod in order for soft lock to be possible. And that obviously didn't happen.
Alright, so right side chests over here, we've got a big 20 in the first one. And plus 10 arrows.
First try bomb jump. Very well done, Myriachan.
There is a possible soft lock or key lock in pod in the current version of logic. In the current code base, it has been fixed.
Essentially, the boss of pod accidentally requires only 5 big keys to have been found in order for it to be logically open.
No,
as
it's
opposed to all 6.
The boss still requires 6. It's the other ones that only require 5.
Oh, okay.
And that's what causes the problem. It assumes you can get there without all 6 keys, and so it can lock something behind there.
Yep.
Oh! And Reverb just found the second biggest key in the game, which just happens to be small. It's the Swamp Palace small key.
With that Swamp Palace small key, does that put us hookshot away from no mode?
Yeah, I think so. Need that hookshot to get to the back of Swamp Palace. Oh, there we go. Myriachan found the Master Sword. Over there in the big key chest of Ice Palace.
So in case you're wondering, the reason for the oversight is because the designers of the logic wanted more bow to be able to be in chests other than the first 3 chests. And as part of that, they changed the logic in version 27. But that caused a soft lock, and the current Keysanity logic is based on the version 27 logic, if I recall correctly.
Right. Or, well, yeah, it's V28, but like V29 doesn't exist yet.
Right.
Or it's not publicly available. Alright, so we see Myriachan actually skipping out on iced tea.
It's hard to get to, and if it's not the hookshot, it's not going to make a big difference.
Alright, so Reverb does not elect to do the hammer jump. Could be because they don't want to and they have to have more keys than they need, or it could be because they don't know how. Either one is fine.
Hammer jump does take time if you're not used to doing it very, very quickly. So...
Apparently the lamp happened, by the way. And we picked up a big key in the big chest of pod as well. I'm thinking the lamp had to be in the compass chest there in the back, or the turtle room chest. But it was a big key to somewhere, and I'm gonna say, at this rate, Ice Palace.
Can only be Ice Palace or Turtle Rock, so...
I think we found the Turtle Rock one.
I don't see it on either of our trackers.
Oh, well, maybe I'm smoking something.
Ah, I see. So the reason that she completed Ice Palace and Misery Mire is because those are the red crystals, so she knows she can check this.
Very nice.
Oh, she's checking the dig spot, it looks like.
Ah, okay. Perfectly reasonable.
And the south of Grove Cave. She might be checking the dig spot, I don't know.
Yeah, it was the Ice Palace big key. Because CRSreverb does not have the Turtle Rock big key and does have the Ice Palace big key.
Yep. Chat begging for the Fat Fairy.
Yep, there is that. Those extra crystals leading to something important could happen. Hookshot? Could it be there? I don't see why not.
It definitely could. And
Where the Ice Palace big key is, in pod, that doesn't require it, so yeah. Logic's still consistent.
Really, the only thing that requires hookshot is the back half of Swamp.
Yeah. And, you know, for, like, human beings, the chest after Moldorm 2.
Yeah.
For robots, it's not required. We have a few of those in the tournament.
Yep. Like Andy. And Ivan, I think, can hover as well.
Yeah, there's actually a good portion of people who can do it. It's just, you know, something a little beyond my dexterity. That was a small key on Helmasaur, but we don't know what to. If I had to guess, I'd say Turtle Rock. But that was a Castle Tower small key. In, Wow, interesting. So, Myria accidentally threw the bow and arrows into the Pyramid Fairy Pond. And said, "No, it's not my bow."
Still gives it back.
Yeah. I never even tried saying no. In the
Here, trying to figure out what would be faster, grabbing that key on the way back or going to Castle Tower right now. Because you just got a Castle Tower key.
Yep. So we've got the Master Sword, we've got a key in here, we can check both of the chests. We know that the lamp is somewhere in pod. Wow, another Turtle Rock small key. Feel like Myriachan might be getting debated toward Turtle Rock at some point.
Still doesn't have that quake.
So this first part of Agate Tower, getting to the chest, is not that bad.
You just go south and then west and then north and then west and then south and then west and then south and then west.
Is this a Zelda 1 Lost Woods?
Yes.
Okay. Just a big love there.
Nothing important, but good that she checked it.
And Miri's gonna pick up that last pod small key. Miri's like, okay, fine, I'll go to pod.
God, jeez.
Or catfish.
Well, she also still hasn't talked to Zora.
Yeah, there is that. More potions.
I mean, if you got the money.
Well, if you're planning on going to Zora, I wouldn't recommend purchasing any more. Oh, wait. Oh, no. Oh, no.
What's wrong?
I hope she doesn't try to go to Zora and then go to pod.
Oh.
That would be unfortunate, to say the least. I mean, I don't see why pedestal hookshot couldn't be a thing.
It absolutely could.
It would be a gross and, like, abomination type thing, but it would be a thing. Unfortunately, the Ganon's Tower Big Chest thing is no longer live. Yeah, one of these days I do want to see the required Ganon's Tower Big Chest. Alright. So Myriachan is now a little short and is heading to pod.
I think she realized
it. Nice. Oh, she's gonna go pick up 50 rupees here in this cave.
Seems fair. I think I would dip into this cave twice, just in case anything goes wrong. But that's just me.
Yeah, it's possible. I really do like Myriachan's approach of being prepared for everything. So making sure that you have potions and having no excuses when going into a place. If you're gonna go somewhere, make sure you're not gonna die doing so. Let's see. Front half of swamp is a possibility.
It's looking slowly like a pretty high possibility as we see
Yeah.
more and more of this.
Front half of swamp could have Quake, which would make your life miserable.
It's either going to be Front Out of the Swamp or, like, in Ice Palace in one of the 2 chests that Myriachan didn't check.
Oh boy.
We do not know where Quake is yet, so we don't have to worry about Turtle Rock yet.
Alright, so there's that Desert Palace small key. Yeah, we could also see it on the right side of Desert. There's plenty of places to check.
My money's in Swamp, though.
Yeah, Swamp does seem, rather likely. So it looks like Reverb is going to make the play on Misery Mire. Yeah, with 6 small keys, you just open every door. Because it's so fast. Like, if I have 5 small keys and the bow, I'm opening the front door. Because I'd rather hammer yump and be able to go in the front door.
I'm opening the front door. I'm opening the door to the back of it. I'm opening everything. Spike Cave is still live. No one's checked it yet.
Oh,
It is in the logic because we have the cape.
Yep, and a bottle. The cape still requires a way of extending your magic bar for this particular version of the logic, but the Cane of Brian does not. Yeah, she had 6 keys, so you can do what you want. Yeah, so Hookshot is all we need to finish this seed out. We certainly would be unopposed to an additional sword, or at least our runners would be unopposed to an additional sword. I'm sure everybody in the chat would, just love to see a Master Sword Ganon fight.
Myriachan has gotten the Swamp Palace small key already.
There was that lamp in the chest that I said probably contained it, but I never saw it, so now I know. Now, Reverb is about to pick up the Ganon's Tower big key. I believe that makes Miria's 4th bottle.
Yes, it does.
Alright. So Reverb doing some block pushing. Lighting some torches on fire. A little different. But yeah, picks up that big key of Ice Palace for Myria. So the way the real Master Sword Ganon is actually very different. having to deal with spin physics is fun. And by fun, I mean, like, the
Annoying.
worst.
So Ganon only takes damage from the level 3 sword and above. So in order to damage Ganon, every hit you need to do must be with a spin. He requires 12 spins or 6 hits with the gold sword to complete the first 2 phases each.
B strats for Ganon. They should add a mode where Ganon is vulnerable to bees. Call it tear mode. And Reverb, getting a little fairy revival there in Misery Mire. I believe there's only a couple more chests for Reverb to check.
Very clean fight from Myriachan.
We'll get to see what this small key is too. Oh, it's the other castle tower key. So that is largely irrelevant.
You remember what was on the lumberjack ledge?
I do not.
Maybe someone in chat will.
Ah, more monies.
So if you're Myriachan, which of the water dungeons do you hop into? Oh, nope. She's going to desert.
Right. So Miri has completed Ice Palace, minus 2 chests. So I don't feel like I would go back into Ice without checking Swamp first. But Desert feels much better than Swamp to me right now.
It's very fast check for 2 chests here. Miss Metroid with a Con Air reference.
Oh boy. The ever so useful map of the dungeon you are currently in that you already have the crystal for. And just big love, so that's gonna do it for Desert.
It's gotta be Swamp or Ice Palace. Those are our choices at this point, I think.
Keysanity. Nice.
Kiki is Kiki a sprite that you can play?
Don't think so.
That seems like an oversight. I'll have to talk with the sprite dev team.
Kiki can be found in random chests. That sounds awesome.
Is Kiki basically an anti-Ruby? Rupee?
Nice.
Cecil Suncure, if you watch the end credits of Keysanity and Open Mode and any randomizer really, there is a sprite dev team.
Yeah, there's a lot of testing that goes on with the sprites to make sure nothing's going to go horribly wrong.
Yeah, you don't want someone to insert a sprite into your game that ends up being lewd.
Yeah. And of course, they want to make sure it doesn't crash the game somehow, because this game is, not held together with duct tape at all. I don't know what you're talking about.
Everything is fine.
Alright, so there's another red ruby. Myriachan coming into Swamp Palace looking for the hookshot, which is never a great feeling. Especially when you're going to find Quake instead.
How dare you, Bobtastic?
I don't know what you're talking about. I actually grabbed the seed as it was being generated. I kind of feel like I should have just been kind of playing the whole time and tried to make all the moves nobody else was, just so I could start making predictions.
It seems like it'd be difficult to commentate if you did that.
You are correct.
Let's see if CRSreverb has the big key, so he'll be able to completely clear out Ice Palace here.
There's another shield upgrade in the big chest of Swamp.
Because Swamp Palace is a crystal, Hookshot cannot be in GT.
Oh, there it is. It's right there. Myriachan is gonna head for the back as quickly as possible. We're done here.
Myriachan has officially entered Go Mode.
Did somebody say Go Mode? I think somebody said Go Mode.
I'm excited. Are you excited? This is my
I'm
excited
a little
face.
excited. I am quite excited. What the heck? That was some fast pushing. I think that has something to do with doing like a hook dash on that thing. Allows you to push that statue really fast.
I wouldn't know. I don't know how to push things or go upstairs even a little bit faster. Myriachan checking chests on the way because Tempered Sword saves runs.
Yeah, Tempered Sword is going to save you quite a bit of time on the way, or through Ganon's Tower and through Ganon itself. Why do more people not use Burn On Phase 2?
So there's
Lag.
a few reasons. Lag is one of them.
And if you have Master Sword, you can't.
You cannot use spin attacks while you're using Burna. And that is the last crystal for Myriachan, and she is headed up to Ganon's Tower. Unfortunately, we do not get to play.
If you guess the big key chest of Misery Mire, congratulations. And Myriachan making their way over to the east side of Death Mountain, where we will be heading to the Dark World for the purposes of climbing Ganon's Tower.
We're seeing what we can do about the audio desync, so bear with us for a moment.
Alright, so Myriachan doing the dash, going across the bridge. We are going to head to Ganon's Tower. It's just going to be a quick trip up. As you often see in Keysanity, we will not be exploring Ganon's Tower much at all. I know some people might check a couple of easy-to-reach chests early in case of, Tempered Sword or something along those lines.
I suspect Myriachan will be checking 4 chests for that sword.
Alright. Yeah. Some people might even check, like, the right-hand side here, the first 2 there, and then, like, the torch, just in case, but not necessarily. Just depends on how comfortable you are with Master Sword Ganon and what you want to do.
Myriachan's already been checking chests on the way. Nothing too crazy, but I do suspect that she'll check this.
Alright. So, Reverb gonna go face off against Cold Stare. 2.5 hearts. What sort of safeties do we have, if any? Whew. Not sure I like the looks of that.
I think touching them does 2 hearts of damage in red mail. I might be wrong.
Yeah. A hug from Cold Stare will deal... we got safeties. Or no, that was just a green potion. Okay. But, zealous use of the Fire Rod here should make it a little easier to deal with.
Makes it through without taking any damage.
Very nice. Area making use of some silver arrows there in the gauntlet, taking care of those rooms. Heading over to Landmo 2. And Reverb is going back into Ice Palace, having missed a chest, perhaps the Iced Tea room or the big chest. And there we go. Landmo 2 taken down with some silver arrows. Myriachan down to only 13 silver arrows. That's enough.
3 times as much as she needs, really.
Most people
Nice.
need 4 arrows for Ganon. Unless you miss or shoot one too many trying for a double or something.
Sub 2 might be dead, but she's done really well in this seed.
Maybe. Looks like we will be checking these chests. We just find a pod map. Half magic, okay. I certainly won't complain about that. And there's the tempered sword! Oh, boy.
Sub 2 might be on the table again, actually, with that.
There is that possibility.
It'll be close, though.
Ooh, that's gonna make it a little harder. And Myria takes down Trolldorm this time with a spin and a splash. And Myria doesn't care if Butter's in that chest. Just like, you know what? No.
I checked everything else, found everything I needed. I am finishing this seed.
That was pretty nice. Getting that sword when you did. Alright. Gets one hit in on Aghanim too. Some of these patterns are not kind. That one's better. Getting the double hit.
Yep, so we're at 4.
And that'll do it. So 1-1-2-2. And Miriam moving on to the Ganon fight. We need the equivalent of 12 slashes of damage per phase from the Tempered Sword for the first 2 phases, then a couple of hits, or a single hit per jump in the 3rd phase, and then 4 silver arrows to finish it off. Now these spins, they count for 2 hits with the Tempered Sword, and that's going to put phase 2 on the table. Cape strats making it easy to get those 12 slashes in, and we're on to phase 3.
Very quick.
The half magic making that a much easier proposition using those cape strats.
We might get a Ganon kill in sub 2, but I think the
Well, the teleports are being nice. This could happen. Ooh, a nice double, and this could do it. Excellent. Oh, I think we're getting there.
it's gonna be close.
And absolutely, Myriachan finish in first place in this race with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 59 minutes, and 51 seconds. Well played. All right, we'll see what we can do about talking to our winner.
In the meantime, CRSreverb is looking for his hookshot.
And we are joined by our victor, Myriachan. Hello.
Yeah.
Myria, I have to say, that entire, just everything looked absolutely covered in swag. Everything you did was fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
Dark Room of Meyer, both Thieves Town boss, so Blind and Mothula with like 5 hearts, 4 and 5 hearts. Really,
God, yeah.
really well done.
Yeah, definitely needed those potions for that one.
Yeah. Sorry, the one thing we learned from you is that you want to be prepared for those fights, and you were always prepared.
Yeah, I felt underpowered the whole game. I mean, I didn't get the Tempered Sword or Master Sword late, and then the Tempered Sword even later. Yeah, this is a good turnaround for me. During the previous race, I kind of lost the race because I died to Mothula. I don't know whether who saw that race, but
I believe I was the commentator for that race.
Ah, okay. Yeah, in that race, I had a similar situation where I was low on hearts, and I went after Mothula and ended up dying and gave up and came back later, and that cost a lot of time. This time, though, I was able to pull it off for both Blind and for Mothula, and those are pretty hard bosses for me to do, like 4 hearts and stuff, even with the potions, because you can easily just take 2 hearts of damage suddenly and die.
I would say, like, most people doing those fights would have had a very hard time doing it in the situation you were in. Your opponent actually died in both of those fights at least once.
Oh wow, yeah, it was pretty hard. I felt like I did like one of my best runs ever. I mean, routing wise, it wasn't all that great, but in terms of execution, I did pretty well, at least for me.
It was kind of trolly that Swamp Palace had your go mode item with that hookshot.
Yeah, when I got him, like, is it really go mode or is it not? Because yeah, it took me a bit to realize. Okay, yeah, it is a go mode. I should just go, but I still got chests that were easy on the way out because I really needed something to make Ganon easier. And then, like, right the last 2 or 3 chests, I think the last 2 chests in Ganon's Tower, I get half magic and then Tempered Sword. And it's like, okay, well now Ganon's easy. Because, you know, doing Master Sword Ganon, even if you have silver arrows, is just a pain.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how good did you feel that you never found that Quake medallion?
Once I realized that it was probably a pendant dungeon, then I stopped getting so worried about it. But yeah, I was worried for quite a while that I would run into a Quake lock somewhere. And especially, there were only 2 keys I got for Turtle Rock, and there are 4 you need in order to clear it, so I was worried about that too.
Ah.
I don't think I ever found the big key for it either.
Nope, neither of you did. We are guessing that everything to do Turtle Rock is in Ganon's Tower.
Wow. I'm glad I found glad I found a key and the big key beforehand, because Ganon's Tower could have been really bad. Could have had the big key in Turtle Rock or something annoying.
Absolutely. The seed was kind of nice for that. It did give you items, it just didn't give you health. Or swords.
Yeah, like, we were just very underpowered up until then, or up until that very end right there, like, oh wow, I felt so weak, and it was like, I thought I would die all the time just because there just wasn't much to protect me at that point. I got really paranoid about the cold stare fight, because cold stare is really hard when you only have the fighter sword, but then the master sword was in there, right, in Ice Palace?
Yeah, you definitely had Master Sword for Cold Stare.
Yeah, it's just scary going in there, because if you have the fighter sword, like, you can only attack with the fire rod and the hammer, and it gets really difficult.
There's that sprite development team we were talking about on the screen there. For those of you who were wondering what that was.
Oh, nice. They credit them now? That's pretty cool.
Yep.
0 death run for me. That's pretty good.
Well played.
Yeah, very well played. Is there anything in this seed that you wish you had done better? Or I guess routing. Your execution was on point the entire time.
Yeah, there were a couple times where I kind of went way out of the way to get something, like, and then the thing where, oh yeah, let me check Zora and then spend the money that I need to get into Dark Palace, and I have to go farm for a bit to get it.
Well, you figured it out before going to Kiki, fortunately.
Yeah, that is true. It was like, uh-oh. I somehow saw it and I was like, oh great. Got out of there and went back. The Dark Palace was kind of interesting this seed. I mean, oftentimes you don't like going into, at least I don't like going into Dark Palace without enough keys, because you get locked out really quickly, and it's kind of random, like, which key doors you want to use. Like, you can end up only being able to check some of the chests in Dark Palace if you don't have all the keys, but thankfully I got all the keys and then was able to do it. But then there are so many important items in there.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to interrupt you for a moment, because Reverb has just entered Go mode.
And is apparently deciding that the block right next to it that spawned that chest deserved a hammering.
I agree with him. Completely agree with him.
Now, as troll as this seed seemed to be, you still only had a collection rate of 154, which is kind of below where I see most Keysanity seeds.
Yeah, it just involved a lot of traveling instead.
Yep, and a sub 2 seed, always very, very good.
Barely, yeah. 159.40 thing, I think.
Barely counts.
But yeah, the sub 2 is good for any Keysanity seed, to be honest. These are generally gross.
Well, I'm just glad that unlike my previous 2 races, it's not a pedestal race. A pedestal seed.
Ugh.
Yeah, I had 2 pedestal seeds in a row in my 2 losses, and yeah, they were just bad. So, what really set Reverb back? I mean, obviously he wasn't watching, so what issues did he have? I mean, you said he had died on Blind and Macula.
The big thing was execution. What put you forward was the fact you were able to do those in one go. He died in blind once and Macula twice. If I recall correctly.
Yeah, because Moth is a jerk.
Moth is a jerk.
Volula. I think he's more trolly than Goldorm.
Yeah, that is definitely possible.
What sprites? Is it Vivi from Final Fantasy 9?
That is VV, yeah.
I hadn't seen that one before. Some of these new sprites I just hadn't seen.
It's pretty good. Pretty good times.
I don't cycle sprites very much because I learned Ice Palace Bomb Jump kind of the wrong way. I used the sides of it and head of the character to know where to place it. So if I change, I have trouble with the bomb jump. So I keep playing the same sprite over and over, unfortunately.
Myriachan, that's
makes
what I do
sense.
as well. Absolutely. I have to use link or link adjacent sprites.
As soon as I heard that there were new sprites, or the possibility for different sprites, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna learn the shadow versions. That way, I don't have to worry about it. But yeah, it's kind of a pain to relearn things like that.
I was really hoping that I wouldn't have to go through Ice Palace again because, when you don't have the hookshot in Ice Palace, routing in it can get a little weird. You have to repeat it.
Reverb with the wishful thinking, hoping that the cape would let you through a stop dead rock. That is not the case.
Wish.
Unfortunately, nothing beats a dead rock that's been stopped.
Nobody likes the squirrels. They're bad squirrels.
Only thing that beats a dead rock in general is Quake Medallion, if I recall correctly.
Powder.
Oh yeah, you can powder them as well.
For the most part, Quake kind of acts like an AoE powder.
Cannot powder a stop dead rock. The stop dead rocks are just... You get to wait. Or you get to walk off the screen and despawn them. So, anything else you'd like to say about this seed?
I'm really glad I did well on this one. I was kind of scared after the last two seeds, but it turned out alright. I had a lot of energy for this one.
I mean, it showed. It absolutely showed. Reverb entering Ganon's tower now.
I was very thankful for the early armor upgrades. Those are really nice.
Yeah. Another problem that your opponent had is, for the longest time, they just didn't check the bombable hut in Thieves Town, or Village of Outcasts.
That was the red mail?
Yeah.
So they died on blind to mostly because they were in blue mail as opposed to red mail, whereas you were able to do blind and Macula in red mail.
Why he went left there? Did he forget that he already has the keys he needs?
He might not know about keys that are on the way up. That's pretty common.
Wait, Quake works on bonk trees? Doesn't work on bonk rocks, apparently. But bonk trees, yes? That's interesting.
Well, because it quakes them, I guess that makes sense.
I mean, it makes plenty of sense.
So yeah, you want something that is stuck up on the leaves in a tree, so instead of, taking the tree or climbing up the tree, you cause an earthquake in the whole area and cause them to fall down.
Okay, so here's the important part. Can the Quake get rid of the leaves on Aghanim's or Lumberjack Cave, though?
I can't imagine it could.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I think we would have known if somebody had tried that before. Money was kind of a problem in this seed as well, especially with that 300 that was at Aghanim, like kind of teasing me that whole time.
And then you went to Eastern Palace.
Yeah, Eastern Palace was like, here, have money.
I think you entered Eastern Palace with like 200 gold, 200 rupees, and left Eastern Palace all told with 1,200 rupees.
Yeah, something to that effect.
Would have been 1,300 if I went to the treasure room too.
Oh yeah, but yeah, there were two 300s in Eastern, and then there was the one from Sahasrara with the green pendant.
These Keysanity, you usually don't know whether the dungeon you're doing is a crystal or a pendant, and so like I did Eastern Palace, I had no idea it would end up being what Keysanity is.
We were interested that you elected not to talk to Sahasrara in the first place.
Yeah, I think that was actually a mistake on my part.
That's fine. I do it myself sometimes.
I'm not sure it would have affected anything though. I might have still just completed it anyway for the extra item.
I think that would have made sense to have done.
Yeah.
I don't know of any other randomizer seed I've ever had that had vanilla locations for the red crystals.
That was
Yeah.
strange.
I think
And
they
the green
actually
pen-
were swapped, but that doesn't really matter.
Oh, I wouldn't have noticed, yeah.
Green pendant and both red crystals were all vanilla, which was really cool.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Just fortunate that Turtle Rock was a pendant this time.
Not only was it a pendant, but it did not require you to dip into it.
And as far as we know, you couldn't even possibly get in. Like, we don't know where Quake is, but it's way out of the way. It's probably left side swamp. That'd be hilarious.
I mean, there are only, I think on my tracker, there are only 10 overworld items left. Or 10 items outside of Ganon's Tower, I mean. So, most likely it was in Ganon's Tower.
Right. Certainly most likely in GT. Ooh.
Well, there are... Oh, yeah. 10 items for Quake where Quake could be.
So Reverb is not checking, or didn't check the first two chests. Not checking that chest either. Just going straight for it.
We're gonna see Master Sword Ganon here.
Unless he checks the very last chest, and it has the other sword,
Which is possible, yeah.
The way it was going, I would have checked the validation chest, but then suddenly I get the Tempered Sword, which, you know, once you get Tempered Sword and half magic cannon's really easy.
The difference between Tempered Sword Ganon and Golden Sword Ganon is it's like
Just
less than
not
30 seconds,
even doing
maybe.
it.
Yeah, the amount of time it takes to open that chest times the probability that the gold sword is in the chest is, you know, not worth it.
Yeah, that makes plenty of sense. So, Reverb just doing the Master Sword fight. Good on them. First couple of Aghanim patterns here were not particularly kind. As we can tell, Reverb not a huge fan of that one.
If he had gotten slightly closer, it would have probably hit. I'm seeing it on delay. Sorry.
Yeah, there's a bit of a interesting situation with Reverb Stream.
Myriachan also is watching the restream on Twitch, which means she's delayed by about between 30 seconds and a minute.
Right. Alright, so Reverb heading over to the Ganon fight. We're gonna see Master Sword Ganon. You know you love it. Here it comes.
My favorite.
Getting that lamp ready. So, with the Master Sword, you must, in order to deal damage to Ganon, you must connect with a Spin Slash. Nothing else will work. At the moment, there are some places in this fight where Ganon can be very kind if he gets right up against the wall, so that you can do some double spins.
Once it gets into phase 3, though, that's when the fun stops.
So right now, Ganon is in the upper right-hand corner, spinning the trident with the bats. That is a spot where you can literally stand in the top right-hand corner and just spin for days. And Reverb has a fairy to back up, so not the biggest problem yet.
Through this phase, you have to do 12 spins on it.
And this phase hurts a lot.
Yeah, the fire bats here with that red mail are still going to deal like 2 damage. Ganon himself is going to deal 4, if I'm not mistaken. You do want to make sure that you're close enough to get the damage in, but not so close that you take hits, and it's pretty easy to take hits from Ganon. And that is actually going to be a game over from Reverb.
Yeah, Reverb choosing to forfeit from the race as opposed to finishing this.
That sounds perfectly reasonable, to be honest, and it does look like CRSreverb has joined us after that race. How are you doing?
Hookshot being in a vanilla spot gets me more times than I care to admit. I think anything being in like a vanilla dungeon will kill me, and it keeps happening.
Yep, it's kind of the worst. You know, that's what Randomizer will sometimes do to you.
You gotta be ready for it, and honestly, I felt like I was doing really well up to that point.
The big thing we were really sad that you missed was getting red mail before going into blind and Mothula.
Yeah, because I was like, okay, when I went down to Shovel Game, you could see me stop and be like, wait, I can get the bomb chest, and then jump off a cliff and then be like, oh my god, I'm an idiot. I just said I could get the bomb chest. Why am I still going down to Shovel?
Oh, feels bad, man.
It's the moment where your body is still just on autopilot. You're like, no, stop, please, hang on, no. I mean,
Oh,
I still got to do the fun kill with blind using Samaria because I love the dumb interactions. It's why I like Randomizer.
oh yeah, Samaria Blind is the best. It's the actual best.
Mm-hmm.
So I do have to say one thing. So on the way up Gan's Tower, you
Mhm.
could have found half magic and the tempered sword.
So the tempered sword was actually up there in one of the boxes I just kind of skipped.
Yep. It was in the
Ah.
one before Moldorm 2.
In the block room. Nice.
We
Like-
still don't know what's in that last chest, but who really cares?
Half Magic was in the room with the mini Helmosaurs.
With the tiny turtles, that's what I figured. I wasn't too worried about magic at that point. It was just, dang it.
Yeah, and
Oh.
Master Sword Ganon is just not everybody's favorite
Fun.
fight.
It's not fun. You have to be so close to him to actually get the hits off. It just bites.
Indeed. Well, you got all the way to the Ganon fight, cleared out basically everything this seed had to throw at you except for that, and nobody can really fault you for, being done at that point.
And more importantly, I had fun because like the majority of the seed wasn't that bad. Like I did decently honest. Maybe I didn't need to, I didn't need to kill blind. I didn't need to kill Armos. I knew those, but I still like, yeah, you just had to go for hookshot. It's always the one. It's hookshot for me 2 times running. I realized because first one was I had to find 500 rupees to start do anything last round. Because freaking first item in the logic was hookshot, and Sora had it.
Gross.
That was fun. Like the not sarcastic fun, because that seed was actually also excellent.
Oh, I was
These are
gonna
good
say
seeds.
air quotes fun or actual fun?
No,
Yeah.
I honestly both these last 2 seeds were legitimately fun. Like, yeah, I missed the one key thing in that bites, and it means I didn't win, but I still had a lot of fun with both of these, and Randomizer is fun. Not much
Yeah.
else to be said.
And it wouldn't be as fun if there wasn't that level of variance. That
moment of
will
oh my
sometimes
god,
get ya.
where is this thing?
I do want to say that I feel like your routing and Myriachan's routing was very, very similar. It's just Myriachan's execution was really good. Myriachan was able to do both blind and Mothula in
Mothula.
one go.
Yeah,
with
and-
like 5 hearts.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah,
And
with no health. That was the thing.
She was also able to do lampless mire basements.
I could not imagine actually trying to do that.
I didn't
She
do it
did
all
it.
that well, but I got it.
You finished it, and everyone was very excited to see that. So
I mean, once again, you had that preparation going in. You made sure to have the presence of mind to be like, you know what? I'm gonna go grab potions because this is gonna suck.
That's
Yep.
exactly my thoughts.
Fine work, skeleton.
is there anything either of you want to say about this seed before we get finish out today?
I had a lot of fun with it. Honestly, it was probably one of my favorite Keysanities just because it gave you so much to start with. It was just like you had so much to go on from the get-go. It was just try and make the most of it.
I like the seed. I mean, the trolls weren't horribly bad. It was the difficulty was execution instead of like, oh, you have to go into Turtle Rock 4 times type of thing. So I really like the seed. It's one of my better Keysanities for me as well.
Ah,
All right. Well, I want to thank both of you for showcasing your talents here in the Keysanity tournament, and thank you once again for playing. And our 2 runners here, CRSreverb and Myriachan, both runners did an excellent job today. And if you you enjoyed that, give these runners a follow. They'd appreciate it.
And if you enjoyed our commentary,
Yeah, so I thank you so much once again to the team behind this. We had Fiesel on the restreaming software. We had Itsudemo on the tracker. The tracker does not get enough love, so thank you so much, the tracker, and of course, thank you, D2 Kemps, for your excellent co-commentary today.
and thank you to Dr. Bob Tastic. I have been D2 Camps.
And I've been Dr. Bobtastic, and we will see you later.
Have a good night.